Hey, thanks for watching. My name is Christine Ann Melvin, aka Woman Walking a Wire. I'm going to do a tutorial today for a couple patterns here. The first part is the same for both of these patterns. So this is the as above, so below, and this is the Seal of Solomon granny square. And the first 4 rounds are exactly the same. So we're going to do the same video for both. And we're going to start with a magic ring, and we're going to chain 3, and that's going to count as our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 11 more double crochet into the magic ring. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, plus our chain 3, and we have 12 stitches for the end of round 1. Close your magic ring tightly, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 to join. Okay. Round 2, we're going to chain 3. Again, it's going to count as our first double crochet, and we're going to double crochet into the same stitch. And now we're going to do 2 double crochet into each stitch around. 1, 2, into the next 1 and 2. Repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you back here where we started. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 to join, and we're not going to fasten off, and you'll have 24 stitches at the end of round 2. Round 3, we're going to chain 3 again. Counts as our first double crochet, and double crochet into the same stitch. And now we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. And here is our repeat. 2 double crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, and then double crochet into the next. We'll do that one more time. 2 double crochet into the next. 1, 2, and then 1 double crochet into the next. And you're going to repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the beginning. All right, now we're back where we started, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 to join, and we'll have a total of 36 stitches around for the end of round 3. All right, round 4, we're going to chain 2. And that's going to count as our first half double. And we're going to half double into the same stitch. And then we're going to half double into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and here is our repeat. We're going to do 2 half double into the next stitch. 1, 2, and half double into the next 2 stitches. 1, and then into the second one. Do that one more time. 2 half double into the next. 1, 2, and then half double into each of the next 2. 1, 2. Okay, so that's going to be our repeat all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the beginning. Okay, we're back where we started from. We can go ahead and fasten off at this point, and you can either slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 or do an invisible join, and I'm going to do an invisible join. There's a couple different ways that you can do an invisible join. I have a link in the patterns to the way that I do mine, but if you do yours a different way, that is okay. Okay, that's good enough for now. And before we finish this first part, we're going to need 6 stitch markers. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to put a stitch marker every 8th stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay, for this next part, we're going to need our contrasting color, and we can go ahead and stick this off to the side. And we're going to need another 6 stitch markers. Lots of stitch markers. All right. So we're going to chain 86. And we're going to do 14, chain 15, chain 14, 14, 15, and then 14. So we're not going to just count up to 86. We're going to count them out in segments. And we're going to put stitch markers in each of those spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Tension is going to be key to this chain. Let's put our stitch marker in the 14th one there. And then we're going to do 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put a stitch marker in number 15 there. If you find, and you might not find until you get into the next round, that your tension is either too loose or too tight, you might want to go up or down on your crochet hook depending on what the issue is. Okay, so we're going to do 14 for the next segment here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Put a stitch marker in 14. Okay. You also want to be careful not to twist your chain. We're going to do 14 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Stitch marker in 14. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do 15 for this next one, next segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put a stitch marker in 15. Get in there. Okay. And 14 for this last segment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. Stitch marker in this last one. And you're going to put your hook, or I'm sorry, you're going to put your loop really loose, but we're not going to fasten off. We're going to leave that on there, and we're going to put them in position. So go ahead and grab your back circle, and this last marked chain that has the loose loop on it is what we're going to start with. And just pick any spot and go ahead and pin it into place. And then I'll take out that stitch marker. Okay. So that was our first point pinned into place. Next one is going to be right here. So it's just directly across from it like that. We'll take out this marker. Okay. So now we have 2 spots pinned into place. And this is where you want to be careful not to twist your chain as you're pinning it into place. It's going to make a big difference for the overall look for later. Okay, so the next one we're going to pin into place. The third spot is going to be right here. So it's going to be right there. Okay. Now we have 3 spots pinned into place. All right. And our fourth one is going to go right here. This spot right here. Go ahead and put that in here like this. Okay, and this is how we should look. Now we have 4 points pinned into place. We have 2 more to go here, so our next one is going to be pinned here, but we need to weave it into place. So it's going to go under the first intersecting line, but over the next intersecting line. So we're just going to take the tail, and we're going to take it under that first intersecting line and over this next intersecting line, and then we'll pin it into place right here. And we'll take this one out. Okay, and now this is how we should be looking. Okay, and we're going to pin our next one over here. And again, since we overlapped on this last line, we're going to underlap it when we get to this first intersecting line this time, because we want to have a woven effect. So if this one's over, then the next line coming through needs to be under. Okay. And then it's going to be over the next line and under the last one, like so. And then we will pin this point into place. And we're going to take out this marker. Okay. And our last point is going to be back where we started. And again, we want to have it look woven. Get this into the right. There we go. Okay. So since this line, we wove it under, we're going to weave it over the first line, under the second line. And we're going to go ahead and position it over the spot that we already have pinned in place here. And I'm going to take another stitch marker and stick it here in this first chain. And then I'm going to stick it through my last chain and pin those into position right there. And now I can take this one out. Okay, so this is how we should be looking. And everything is completely woven here, where it's not the same. Like if one is overlapping and the next one should be underlapping, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our hook through this first chain. And we're going to put our hook through the last chain. And then we're going to go ahead and stick that through the stitch below. We can take the marker out. And now we can tighten our loop again. Oh, I'm caught. There we go. We're going to tighten that down. And we're going to go ahead and pull a loop through the stitch and both of the loops on our hook. Okay. And that is the end of positioning the unicursal hexagram. So now we're ready to move on to round 5. Okay. So for round 5, as we go around, we're going to work into the chains and the stitch below when we come to them. So when you come to a stitch that has the chain pinned in place, you're going to work through the chain and into the stitch below it. So first we're going to chain 2, and that's going to count as our first half double. 1, 2. Okay. And then into the next stitch, we're going to do 2 half double. 1, 2. Okay, and we're going to half double into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to repeat that cycle of 2, 5 all the way around. So the next one's going to be 2 half double, 1, 2, and then we're going to half double into the next 5. So the next one we're going to come up to one where we have our first chain pinned. So we're going to go ahead and pick up the chain and put our hook through the stitch below it. You can take out that marker or make a half double. Okay, so that was the first half double of 5. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 2 half double into the next. 1, 2. And then we're going to half double into the next 5. 1, 2, and then again we're coming to a stitch that has a chain pinned into it. So we're going to go ahead and pick up our chain and into the stitch behind it, take out our marker. Okay, so we half double into 2 more here. That's 4 and 5. Okay, 2 half double into the next. 1, 2, and half double into the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 5th one is going to be through the chain and through the stitch beneath it. Okay, 2 half double into the next. 1 and 2, and then half double into the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 half double into the next. 1, 2. We're going to half double the next 5. Sorry, and our first one is going to be the one where we work into the chain and into the stitch below. Okay, we have 4 more half double to go here. Two, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 half double into the next. 1, 2, and half double into the next 5. 1, 2. The third one is going to go through the chain and the stitch below. And 4, 5. You're going to do 2 half double into the next. 1, 2. And we're going to half double into the last 4 here. 1, 2. I'm going to redo that stitch because it looked funky. So that was 2, 3, and 4, and our first chain 2 counted as a half double. Okay, so we're not going to fasten off, but this is a good point to kind of pull it and stretch it out and see how your tension was for this hexagram. If it's pulling too much and like when you stretch it out it doesn't look right, or it pulls too tight, or it's like super loose, then you know that you need to redo that chain. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 to join. And that's the end of round 5. You should have 56 stitches for the end of round 5. And now we're just going to single crochet all the way around. So I'm actually going to start in the next one, and then when I get back around, I know that I need to work a single crochet into that slip stitch there, but I feel like this looks a little bit cleaner when I start in the stitch right next to it. But you can also start in the chain too. So let's just single crochet all the way around, and we're not going to do any increases, decreases. So again, you're going to have 56 stitches. So I'm going to pause while we do our single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you back where we began. Okay, I'm all the way back around, and since I started in this stitch just to the left of where I had ended in my chain 2, I do want to make sure that I put one more into that slip stitch. So I do have 56 stitches around. Now we can fasten off. That's the end of round 6. And I am going to do an invisible join. You can slip stitch to the first stitch if you desire. I'm just going to quickly, there we go, weave that end. Okay, and this is how we should be looking. All right, we need a new color for round 7. It can be this same color or it can be something else. So hang on, I'm going to grab my new color. Okay, round 7. So round 7, we're going to eyeball where to begin, and it's going to be either your top or bottom point. And we need to find the stitch that's directly above either of those points. And that's where we're going to start. So I'm going to go ahead and start right here. And we're going to single crochet into that stitch right there. You want to make sure that it is directly above one of the top or bottom points. So single crochet into the next stitch, and then half double into the next 2. 1 and 2, and double crochet into the next 2. 1, 2, and treble into the next. And then into the next, we're going to do 2 treble, chain 2, 2 treble, all into the same stitch. And this 2 treble, chain 2, 2 treble is where the repeat begins. So starting from here, this is going to be the repeat. You're going to treble into the next stitch and double crochet into the next 2. 1 and 2, and half double into the next 2. 1, 2, single into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, half double into the next 2. 1, 2, and double crochet into the next 2. 1, 2, and then you're going to treble into the next. So that is your repeat, and you're going to repeat that 2 more times, and then I'm going to meet you when we get to our last corner, and we'll finish that last corner off. Okay, now we've gotten to our last corner, and again we're going to do 2 treble, chain 2, 2 treble into the next stitch, and treble into the next, double into the next 2, 1, 2. We're going to half double into the next 2, 1, 2, and we're going to do a single crochet into the last stitch there. You can either slip stitch into that first stitch to join, or you can do an invisible join. So that is the end of round 7, and we have a total of 68 stitches for the end of round 7. Let me just finish my invisible join real quick. Okay, I'll make that look better later. All right, and this is how we should be looking by the end of round 7. All right, now we need another color for round 8. All right, now we're on round 8 with our new color. And we're going to start in any of the chain spaces, and this is going to be our repeat. It's 2 half double, chain 2, 2 half double into the chain space, and then half double into the next 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And you're going to repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the beginning. Okay, we're back to where we started. And go ahead and slip stitch into the top of, or into your first stitch to join, or do a invisible join to fasten off. This is the end of round 8, and we have a total of 84 stitches for the end of round 8. We have one more round to do, which is just our border round, and it is optional. Depending on what you're making, you might want to hold off if you're not wanting to put a border on it. I'm going to grab white for this last round. It's very simple. And there's a couple ways, of course, that you can, do your border. Like I said, that's why it's optional. It's really, there's, depending on what you're doing, you might choose to do something completely different with how you finish this off. So the way I like to do mine is with rounded corners, but you can also square off your corners. And in the pattern I have written both ways. But then also, the way that's not written is you might choose to, like for the squared off corners that I have written into the pattern, you do 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet into the chain space here at the corner, and then in each stitch across for a total of 100. But you might also choose just to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet into the corner chain space if you need less bulk in your corners, totally depending on what you're making. Or you might want to put a fancy border on it. I have no idea. Very easy to change up what you're doing here, but we're just going to do this my way. So pick any corner chain space, and we're going to do 3 single crochet into the chain space, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 21 stitches until we get to our next corner. And the bigger something gets, the more I need to crumple it up, because I have arthritic hands, and it's really hard for me to hold things as they get bigger and bigger. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Okay, so you're going to repeat that on all sides, 3 single crochet into the chain space, and then single crochet into each stitch across, and I will meet you back here where we began, and we're going to be done. Okay, we are at the end here, so I'm going to fasten this off, and I'm going to do an invisible join. You can of course slip stitch into the top of your, or I'm sorry, into your beginning single crochet if you prefer. And just a couple more things that I want to say about this pattern is, and I say this about pretty much all of my granny square patterns, if you are going to block this, do it gently and carefully. You don't want to overstretch. And also consider whether or not you are going for specifically this one or for any of my patterns that have these chain symbols in the center. If you might want to consider tamping them down somehow, and whether you use fabric glue, there's hot glue guns that are specifically for fabrics, and the fabric fabric hot glue and fabric hot glue guns, and then there's also the liquid fabric glues that you can use as well. One of my testers, she just ran hers through a sewing machine because she was going to be making a bag with it, and so she wanted to make sure that the symbol was going to stay in place as the bag was getting a lot of use, and I thought that was genius. So she just, you know, took her sewing machine to it and ran that over it. I'm not really sure how sewing it like with yarn would look. I kind of think that that would look terrible. But that just depends like on how much care you took with it, hand sewing it with maybe a needle and thin thread. That probably would look a lot better. So just depending on what you want to do with it, you might want to consider tamping it down somehow with some kind of fixative, whether it's glue or thread or whatever. And also, if you are going to block it, you would want to block it before you did that, and take care in blocking it so that you don't warp your circle too much, or also just so that maybe you want your circle to look a little bit better. So like when I'm blocking, wet blocking, steam blocking, I take the pins and I take a lot of extra care around the places where I'm really trying to shape it. Not so much trying to get it to size. I'm just trying to, you know, work on shaping it into exactly the shape that I want it to look. So anyway, this is the end of round 9. You have 96 stitches. This is the end of the as above, so below pattern. And thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. All right, bye-bye.